Here's your wrestling news for August 16th, 2022, and we're kicking off today with Monday Night Raw, as Kevin Owens and SmackDown's Drew McIntyre were arguably the MVPs of the show. McIntyre on Raw was a complete surprise, and the former WWE champion said he was there to scout new competition, pitching matches against Ciampa, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and others. Interrupted by Owens, the two had a great back-and-forth promo, which included McIntyre confirming the reports of a back injury, but saying it was because he was carrying the company. The big takeaway was that Owens announced his intention to challenge for the undisputed Universal title after Clash at the Castle, in a huge step for the Canadian, whose one and only Universal title run ended 5.5 years ago. While he may not be the first challenger for the title immediately after the show, this was a clear indication that he will be utilized as a main event star going forward. Raw also saw the Judgment Day on the card, and once again, the group got the better of the Mysterios. This week, it was Rey's turn to take a beating from the group, as we've seen several weeks before. During a promo to hype up next week's Edge vs. Damian Priest match in Toronto, Mysterio struck first and was able to get the better of the group at first. However, once Rhea Ripley used herself as a shield, ensuring that Mysterio wouldn't attack a woman, the moment gave Finn Balor and Priest time to recover and beat him down. Ripley being in the group was certainly the right call when she was added earlier this year, but this week exposed the glaring issue with her involvement. Unless the trio's opponents have a female superstar, then Ripley's use in the group is severely limited, as WWE doesn't want to be promoting any male-on-female violence. Having the Judgment Day get the upper hand yet again also pretty much gave away next week's result, as it was a subtle way of saying Edge will be winning in his hometown and will align with the Mysterios going forward. Expect a match between Rey and Edge against Balor and Priest to be made official for Clash at the Castle, with Dominic and Ripley being left out of the bout. More from Raw now, as the Red Brand had some major changes take place during this week's broadcast. While fans didn't see a huge shocking return like in previous episodes, they did see a new Raw theme song and extended opening. Superstars including Brock Lesnar, Riddle, The Miz, and Becky Lynch made up just some of the big names in the new extended package. We've heard a lot about WWE being in a new era now that Vince McMahon is retired, and now the 3-hour show has a new intro to go with their new era. Over the past few weeks, we've seen several returns to WWE, with Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, and Hit Row just being some of the stars who have made a comeback. With Triple H undoing a lot of the releases his father-in-law approved, it's certainly an interesting time to be a former WWE superstar, and now one name has teased a return. On Instagram, Leo Rush shared a photo of his days in WWE alongside Bobby Lashley, and fans in the comments speculated whether this was a sign of his imminent return. Rush worked for WWE from 2017 to 2020 and became NXT Cruiserweight Champion, but he was released as part of the dreaded budget cuts. After his release, Rush would have a brief, underwhelming run in AEW before leaving when his contract expired in February this year. Now, the self-professed Man of the Hour is a free agent, but between WWE's returns and this post, how much longer he's a free agent is anyone's guess. Now, with his cocky personality and in-ring skill, Seth Rollins is used to getting his way in the ring, even if it means cheating against his fellow superstars. Rollins has certainly accomplished a lot in his time with WWE, but this past weekend, an unlikely individual pushed back against the former Universal Champion. During this past weekend's Sunday Stunner event, Rollins faced Dolph Ziggler on the show, and during the match, got in the face of the referee. After harassing the referee and backing them into a corner, the official snapped back, shouting back at Seth, who immediately backpedaled in fear. Rollins clearly didn't enjoy someone standing up to him and quickly turned his attention back to Ziggler, who he'd defeat. A post-match beatdown was ended abruptly by Riddle, and Rollins will probably think twice the next time he shouts at a WWE referee. More from Raw now, as it was on last week's show that Kevin Owens attacked Ezekiel, laying him out with a powerbomb on the apron. When asked about the attack, Owens said that Ezekiel may not know who he is, but Owens knows that Raw will always be the Kevin Owens show. During this week's show, Jimmy Smith announced that Zeke had sustained multiple injuries and will be out of action for a long time. Smith also said that Ezekiel had been sent to a hospital, a term WWE had previously banned in favor of local medical facility. It's unclear when Ezekiel will return, or if this is WWE's way of ending the character and making way for the full-time return of Elias. What we do know is that Ernie, Ezekiel's father, has promised to confront Kevin Owens on next week's Raw, as the prizefighter isn't done with the Ezekiel Elias family just yet. This weekend, WWE will host a series of live events in Canada, with the Saturday show being at Kingston, Ontario, and the Sunday event being at London, Ontario. The shows will feature some of WWE's biggest stars, and Trish Stratus has confirmed that she'll also be in town. The 7-time WWE Women's Champion announced her appearance at the shows in a tweet, and we're sure that the fans are hopeful to see some Stratusfaction. Now, last week, Dexter Lumis returned to WWE, appearing on Raw after the main event featuring AJ Styles. As Styles was celebrating in the ring, Lumis appeared in the crowd but was detained by police, seemingly teasing a feud with the Phenomenal One. That may not be the case after all, as according to a report from PW Insider, Lumis's fate is uncertain. When Hit Row returned to WWE on last Friday's SmackDown, the trio were internally listed as part of the Blue brand, confirming that they are SmackDown superstars now. Lumis, however, has not been assigned to either Raw or SmackDown yet, despite returning days earlier than Top Dollar, Ashanti the Adonis, and B-Fab. On last night's show, Lumis made another appearance, this time jumping the barricade before being tackled to the ground. So while it seems he's going to be a permanent fixture on Raw since his return, that hasn't been confirmed backstage just yet. One name who certainly knows about impactful returns to WWE is Cody Rhodes, who stunned the world by returning at WrestleMania 38 this past April. In June, Rhodes suffered a torn biceps, which WWE claimed would keep him out of action for 9 months, but we may be seeing him as soon as this month. When the WWE UK Twitter account fired off a tweet promoting Clash at the Castle, Rhodes retweeted it and made it clear he has an eye on the September 3rd show. WWE has said that Cody won't be back until March of next year, but many have been skeptical of this claim, believing the company is setting Rhodes up for a surprise return at the Royal Rumble. A return in the Men's Rumble match would certainly be a big deal, but if Cody gets his way, he'll be back on TV in just a few days' time. As WWE continues to move on without Vince McMahon, the company has repealed a lot of the decisions made by the former chairman, and we're not just talking about cuts to the roster. Recently, WWE has been using some of the terms from McMahon's banned words list, a long list of terms that Vince refused to let be heard on WWE TV. On Raw, it was said that Ezekiel had been sent to the hospital, but that wasn't the only banned term that's back in use. During the broadcast, Michael Cole could be heard talking about professional wrestling, a term McMahon had previously refused to let be heard on his shows. McMahon's reasoning was that calling what they do pro wrestling makes them just the same as any other pro wrestling company, while using the term sports entertainment differs WWE from the likes of AEW or Impact. After decades of having McMahon screaming in his ear on the headsets, Michael Cole is now having a lot more freedom on commentary, so don't be surprised to hear pro wrestling discussed in the world's biggest pro wrestling company. And we're ending today with AEW, who haven't exactly had the most thrilled roster as of late. Recently, both Miro and Andrade El Idolo liked tweets saying they were being poorly used in AEW, and in Miro's case, his tweet suggested that he had it much better in WWE. Now, yet another AEW star has commented on being misused in AEW, and that man is Bobby Fish. Speaking on a K&W WrestleFest virtual signing, Fish spoke about his career and the positive response he's had from fans, and took aim at Tony Khan. It's even somewhat surreal to hear guys that I watched growing up comment in a positive way about the way that I do the business that they use to put food on their table, so I know I'm f***ing good. I'm not gonna mince words, I know I'm good. So if you're the person paying me and booking me, use me properly. Fish didn't stop there, as he insisted that he, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly need to be used in the best way, something it seems Fish believes isn't happening right now. So I know for a fact that myself, Kyle, and Adam all do what we do at an extremely high level, whether that's together or separate, and it's our employer's job to know what to do with that. So frankly, it just comes down to figure it out, utilize your talent, and we're getting paid, use us the way you can best utilize us. Tony Khan has a lot of people on his roster, and it'd be difficult, if not impossible, to please everyone, but the group once known as the Undisputed Era are looking for some better booking. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.